A lot of communities are just being forgotten. And that's why we like to come in with 501c3. And we started to put water boxes and these water filtration systems into communities of color that really needed them, that were being affected by these disaster scenarios. Like, best example of what was happening and what is still happening in Flint, Michigan. That was really my time when I said, hey, I want to do something. I want to change this. I want to create something new for the world. To be honored with this award and to have the award presented by Al Gore is like, Al is like my favorite person ever. This whole thing is like a dream of mine. And the fact that I'm receiving this award from this amazing, prestigious college is just such an honor. I'm really glad that people look up to me when it comes to my philanthropic work and what I do with 501c3 and Just Water, because we need more climate warriors. We need more young people that care about this and that are dedicating their lives to making sure that, we don't destroy the planet. My surfing coach was telling me that the ocean was alive, that the ocean loved us and the world and people, and that it wanted to connect with humans, but that it was also dying. And it was because of, things that humans were doing that was killing it. That really sent me back to school, just really in a weird headspace where I just wanted to get to the bottom of why is the ocean dying, what's happening. And then I started to learn about the ocean's dying, our atmosphere is depleting, our land is turning into deserts, we're cutting down our forests. And I just started to learn so much about it. A lot of these communities are communities of color, and people are simply just not giving these communities the proper funding. They're turning a blind eye, and they're just allowing these people to go through these terrible things, and it's really sad. And that's why we like to come in with 501c3, and we like to do some amazing stuff, but then also educate people on what we're doing so that they can know, oh wow, I didn't know that this was happening over here. I didn't know that it was that bad. They have people lining up around the corner to grab these little plastic bottles of water, but they're showering in them. They're using them for their cooking of food, and they're drinking it. So it's going. So what we did is said, hey, we're going to start giving people water in these huge 5-gallon jugs instead of, just individual plastic bottles of water that they can come back and they can continue to refill, and they can take as many jugs as they want. One of my most personal stories is just going down and putting the water boxes in and seeing the kids that have been exposed to these levels of lead and the lead that is getting inside of their brains and how that's going to have long-term effects. And the fact that they're not even thinking about that type of stuff. They're just thinking about normal, kid stuff. And it's just really intense to be there with them and to understand what's happening and try to offer a solution, but still realizing that there's things that are really terrible that are going wrong in the world right now. I wanted to create something that was going to be better for the environment. And I wanted to create something that's going to have less plastic. And most importantly, I wanted to create something that would involve less CO2 emissions in its production. We got to up to 80% of the bottle to be made out of renewable resources. And we're actually pushing that even further. And when I say renewable resources, I'm talking about things like paper. And so the paper carton, and I'm talking about plant-based plastic that comes from sugarcane in Brazil that we use in our caps. So we're trying to use different innovative materials to reduce the CO2 emissions involved in the production of the bottle. That was like a huge accomplishment for us because, when I was younger, I just really wanted to give something to the world that was a step in the right direction, show other creators and entrepreneurs to also innovate in that direction. And I feel like that's what's starting to happen. And I'm so excited because now there's so many different sustainable bottle of water options when there was none before. I feel like we've helped to open up this whole category. And that was just like something that we wanted to do ever since the very beginning. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to learn about what's going on in the world and really look at it from a scientific point of view where we see our effects that we're having on the climate, and how we can make small adjustments to all of our lives to make sure that we're not torturing the earth and that it's still here for the next generation, because we really need everybody to get on board with this.